Alright, so you can see my screen, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I am going to continue with my last class. Last class we started with null space and column space, right? So, so we started with row echelon form. What is row echelon form? Right, so this whole thing will depend on these two things: row echelon form and reduced row echelon form. Reduced row echelon form. I am audible, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Oh,
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
okay, so when I'm saying row echelon form, the matrix, I said that it can be of two form. It can be something like this, so that you have entire row 0, or you can have something like this. Right, so these are the two ways we can find pivots. Now in this case, because the entire row is 0, when we were solving it using elementary operation, we learned that when a row is coming as 0, it is actually infinite solution, and here, when in this case, it is actually unique solution. So when the something like this is coming, we know that these are the pivots. What are pivots? So that all the below points are 0, and this is a pivot, because this is the below point is 0. Right, and why this is called echelon form? Because it actually makes a staircase like thing here. So the next pivot will be always on the right side of the first pivot, and so on. So here these are two pivots, and in this case we have three pivots. One pivot here, the another pivot here, and the third pivot is here on this position. So this form actually is called the echelon form, and we are reducing it to, I mean, whatever matrix we are given, we actually reduce it to this form. Now there is another thing called a reduced row echelon form. In that there are two properties. One, that all the pivots are 1. Here, so yeah, here all the pivots are 1 means what? Earlier, it could be pivot could be anything in the row echelon form. Now in reduced row echelon form, the pivot has to be 1, and all the elements here are zeros, right? And if the next pivot is here, then the reduced row echelon form has two property. One, that the pivots are all pivots are 1, first property, and second property, all the elements above and below that pivots are 0. Earlier that was not the case. So another pivot is this, right? Or if the entire row is 0, then it could be something like this: 1 0 0 0 0 0 0 1 0, and so on. Yeah, so this entire row is 0 in both the cases, wherever the pivots are there. So here there are two pivots, and here all the elements will be 0, and if this is the pivot, all the elements below and above are 0. So the second property is below and above elements are all 0, are all zeros. So these are the two properties. Now if you see this form in the reduced row echelon form, you see that this is actually what? These are unit vectors. So these are actually on this form. They will always be of this form. These are what? These are your unit vectors, and we in previous lectures we learned that all unit vectors are linearly independent. Therefore, when we are considering row echelon form or even the echelon form, we are taking that all these elements where the pivot lies are all linearly independent. Right, so then we have done few examples, and we saw that how a matrix can be reduced to row reduced echelon form. Right, so for example, last time I took this matrix 2 2 minus 4 4 minus 2 1 4 minus 4 minus 1, 4, 10 minus 8, 14 minus 2, 7, 4, 6. This was the matrix, and what you have to do is you have to so you take few example. Even in the tutorial we'll be taking examples. First and foremost, you learn how to reduce big matrices into reduced row echelon form. So here if we do the elementary row operations, we actually can reduce this to yeah, yeah. So doing this we can actually reduce it to row echelon form, which is this. What happened? So 1 0 0 0 0 1 0 0 4 2 0 0 0 0 1 0. So we have reduced this into this form. So you see that you have one pivot here, one pivot here, and this is actually making a something like staircase thing here. Right. So so take few example and see how that thing can be reduced it to row echelon form. Now we are doing actually the column space. What is column space of A? So for example, you have one matrix here, 1 1 1 2 3 4 5. Right. Now here A has 3 columns. Right. So that space we are in working with the column space in R4. This is what 4 cross 3 matrix. A has 3 columns, but so definition of column space, let A be a M cross N matrix. The subspace of Rm spanned by column vectors of A is called column space. Right. So what is column space? Column space is actually the space which is spanned by these columns, 1 2 3 columns, and this space would be in R. If it is M cross N matrix, then this the column space will be a subspace spanned by vectors in R4. So last time when we were doing question, we actually saw that it was coming in R4. So what is column space? CA is actually the all linear combinations of columns. Yeah. So last time I did one theorem that everything that spans is a subspace, so that you can prove if something is if something is spanning, then it will be a subspace, right? Because if something is spanning, then any other element can be written as a linear combination, and then those two properties of subspace and also the zero vector will satisfy. So every span is a subspace. Now we are saying that if A is a matrix, that all linear combination or on all the vectors of this matrix, all the columns of this matrix are actually spanning, and therefore it is a subspace, right? So then we are, what we are saying, that column space is actually nothing but all linear combination of column A, right? So column A is nothing but it span that space, or it span the columns, it spans the columns. So now the question is, does A equal to B have a solution, for every B? Right, now what does that mean? It means let x is equal to x1, x2, xn. Then we can write Ax is equal to linear combination of x1, c1, x2, c2 and xn, cn, right? Because what we are saying is that A is actually is a span of that columns. Therefore Ax can be written as x1, c1, x2, cn. And then if Ax equal to B has a solution, then what does that mean? Then solving Ax equal to B amounts to solving this one, right? x1, c1 and so on, x2, c2 and xn, cn, which is actually equal to B. There, so we see that for the system to have a solution, so we see that for the this will be more clear. I'll just take an example. So we see that for the system to have a solution, B must be in the span of C1, C2 and Cn. So this is a very important theorem. Therefore we state this in a theorem. Where is the theorem? Yeah. So are you, is this one clear what I am doing? Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So I am just continuing with my last lecture, and what I'm trying to tell you, there are two subspaces. One is a column space, another is a null space, right? So for both of them, if you want to understand both of them, first you have to understand what is row echelon form and row reduced echelon form, which I have just now told you. And this row echelon form has the property that its columns are linearly independent. Now if we go to column space, what we are saying, column space is nothing but it actually the span of those columns which are there in your matrix A. Now its span means we know that every span is a subspace, and what is span? It is actually the linear combination. So if I'm saying that column is a span, therefore its linear combination should be there, and the linear combination, because we are on Ax, then the linear combination becomes x1 c1 or x2 c2 and so on. And since it's a equation Ax equal to B, therefore x1 c1 x2 c2 should be equal to B. Now what does that mean? That it actually means that B is in the span of C1, because that is the definition of, right? If C1, C2, Cn are spanning, then any other vector can be written as a linear combination. That comes from the definition. So that's what we are saying. So if the system has the if the system has the solution, then B must be in the span of C1, C2, this C10. Now what does that mean? It means there is a theorem which says a system of linear equation Ax equal to B is consistent consistent if and only if B is in the column space of A. Now actually this theorem has a proof also, and you can find that in some book, but it essentially means that a system of linear equation is consistent means basically what we are doing, we are, even if we are doing column space or null space, we are trying to find the system solution of the system of equations. So in case of null space, our system of equation becomes Ax equal to 0. So I am coming to that. And in column space we are on Ax equal to B. So we are saying this system will have an solution if and only if B is in the column space of A. So that's what we are saying. Now for example, this is a nice example. I am taking this example 1 2 3 4, the earlier one 1 1 1 2 3 4 5, right? Now this has x2 x3. Now here you see that we have 3 variables and 4 equations, right? Now this is equal to b, b1 or whatever, b1 b2 b3, right? So what we are saying is that for some right hand side we can solve ax equal to b. So right, so question is which right hand sides allows us to solve, which b's allows this system to be solved is the question. So which b's, so which b's allows the system to solve it, so that b is actually in the span of ax equal to b. Which b's allow this system to be solved, right? So if b is equal to 0, then ax equal to z can be solved, right? Now question is what kind of b will allow this system to solve, right? So if I am writing this 1 2 3 4 1 1 1 2 3 4 5, and if I am writing, so I am writing this 1 2 3 4, just see this, right? Now if I am writing this, if I take x as 1 0 0, right? So this is what 1 2 3 0 multiplied by 1 is equal to 1 2 3 4, right? Or if I am writing 1 2 3 4 1 1 1 1 2 3 4 5 0 1 0, which is equal to 1 1 1 1. So then we see that I can solve this system exactly when b is in the column space of A, this one. So this system, if we are writing this way, then if I am writing b as 1 2 3 4, then b is actually here in this span. If I am writing b as this, then b is actually in this space. So this says that we can solve Ax equal to b exactly when b is in the column space. So this is how we are saying it. So so in this kind of scenarios we can have a solution. And so, and another column space that we talked about is null space, right? Now what is null space? Null space is Ax equal to, we are solving a homogeneous equation such that x is the solution, right? Now I have the same matrix 1 2 3 4 1 1 1 2 3 4 5. Now can you reduce this into, then it will be more clear what I am trying to say. Now can you A is this, can you reduce this A matrix into row reduced echelon form, R R E F? Yeah. Are you doing it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So just reduce it. Then I have something to tell you. 2, 3, 4, 5. What I have to do is I have to multiply R1 with 2 and subtract it from the second row. Then multiply R1 with 3 and subtract it from R3 and 4 and so on.
Row 1 will be 1, 1, 2, and row 2
1, 1.
will be
No,
1,
no.
1.
1, 1, 0, 0.
I'm talking about row 1.
Okay, row 1. Yeah, tell me what is row 1?
1, 1, 2.
1, 1, 2.
Row reduce or row echelon?
RREF. Or you tell
Row
me
reduce. Okay.
okay. First you tell me row reduce echelon form.
Okay. 1, 0, 0.
1.
No, ma'am. I'll have to recompute it. Sorry.
Please, please.
Ma'am,
Yeah,
is it 101,
please.
011, 000, and 000?
You are reading columns or rows?
Ma'am, rows.
Row
1, 1.
101,
101 011
1, 1 minute, 1 minute. 1, 0, 1.
011,
0, 1, 1.
000,
Hmm.
and 000.
Okay. Okay, so when I am on call, so if I have a matrix A which is M cross N, then column space is actually a subspace of Rm, right? So and it's a subspace of Rm, and actually we are interested in the dimension of column space. So what is the dimension of column space is what I told you last time. Dimension of column space is actually the number of pivots. Right, so what are the number of pivots here?
2, ma'am.
2.
2.
1 and 2. Right? And these two are linearly independent. Therefore, actually, the dimension of column space is 2. Right? And one more thing, if you see, you see this matrix. What is this matrix actually? The last column is nothing but the linear combination of first two. See, 1 plus 1, 2, 2 plus 1, 3, 3 plus 1, 4, and 4 plus 1, 5. So from here only, when we see this matrix, we know that this matrix has two linearly independent columns. And from here only, if I say that find the dimension without solving anything, then from here only you knew that you had two independent rows, and therefore this is actually the span. So therefore the dimension or the rank, so dimension of column space, which is the number of pivot element, is also called the rank of A. Rank of A, which is actually 2. Number of it. So last time what I was saying is that when you have two pivots here, 1 and 2, the other one which is left are called free column or free variables. So that free does not mean that it is independent. Somebody was asking. Free actually means, so these two are pivots and this one can be taken as any value. So this is used when we are doing the null space. So when we are saying column space, we are saying that we are actually taking the columns, and the number of pivots becomes your dimension, which is the rank of the matrix A. Right, that is in column space. Now when you come into null space, what we are saying in null space is that now you have matrix Ax equal to 0, and we are actually finding the solution for x. Right, so this is about column space. Now if I take the same matrix, my null space will be actually the solution space, which is values of x. Now how you can write this in form? Now you have this x1, x2, x3, right? x1, x2, x3. If you give me values of ax, x1, x2, x3, then it is actually the basis, because they are linearly independent and the dimension will be that. So here from above equation, when you have this row reduced form, can you tell me what are the values for x1, x2 and x3? So if we write this above matrix in form of ax equal to 0, write this in form of ax equal to 0.
R times 1, 1 minus 1.
So here can you tell me for column space you are in which space?
R2.
Here we are saying that when it's a subspace of Rm. If A is a M cross N matrix, then it is actually a subspace of Rm. Therefore, this is what a 4 cross 3 matrix, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So this column space actually, when you are taking, it is a subspace of R4. But when you come to null space, it is a subspace of N, that is R3. And you can see it here, right? Now when I am writing the solution, these are three vectors, x1, x2, x3. Therefore, I am in actually R3. Now when you give me solution, it will be a 3 tuple. Earlier it was 4 tuple. See, 1 2, I mean, you know what is R4, right? You have 1 2 3 4 elements. So this was column space was in R4 because it was 4 cross 3. Now when I'm writing null space, my solution is x1, x2, x3. Therefore null space is a subspace of null. A is actually the subspace of
तो क्या करोगे है
is a subspace.
ऐसे समझ में नहीं आता मैम का
बैठ के पढ़ना है तो पहले बैठ फोन कर रख साइड में क्या नहीं
कुछ ना
Bolo, what is the value for x1, x2, x3? If you write the
1, 1 minus 1.
therefore you actually can write this as actually in form of x3, and what is the value coming? You're writing this as equations, right? So from here you're writing into the form of equations, which is x1 plus x3. I think here this should be 0.
No, ma'am, it was coming 1 only.
Okay, if it is coming 1, then the equations are coming as x1 plus x3 is equal to 0. Right? Then x2 plus x3 is coming as 0. These two equations are coming, and since there is one free variable, you can write x1 as minus x3 and x2 is also minus x3. If you give x3 as 1, then what is the solution becomes?
Minus 1 minus 1 1
1.
times x3.
Right? So this is what? This is in R3, and this is your basis for null space, and therefore this 1 minus 1 minus 1 and 1 is the basis of null space, and its dimension is 1 because what? Because you have only one element. So basis is dimension of null space. Dimension of null space is what? 1, and it is null space here is in null space is a subspace of R3. Right? So that's all I was trying to tell you, that column space is in R4 because you have columns in 4 tuples. your null space, when you are solving Ax equal to 0, it will always come in R3 space, but its dimension will be the dimension of number of free variables. So you had one free variable, therefore dimension is coming as 1. Now these two dimensions are very important in this entire section. So you have one dimension of column space, which are number of pivots, right, which is actually called rank of A. Then another thing is dimension of null space, which are actually number of free variables, and these are called nullity of A. Right, now if you see the dimension of null space plus dimension of rank, or dimension of rank, no, and rank A, these two, rank A plus dimension, so this is 1 plus rank was 2, will always be equal to number of columns. So 1 plus 2, 3, and this matrix had 3 columns here, 1, 2, 3. So this is also a theorem which says the dimension, this is an important theorem which says that rank of A plus nullity of A will always be equal to number of columns. So this is how, if some small questions are coming, then you can say. Now there is another theorem which says if A is invertible, if A is invertible, then null A is 0. Is it true? If A is invertible, now when we are talking about null space, we are actually in Ax equal to 0. When A is invertible, then the solution space is 0. And therefore null A becomes 0. Right. Now if you have any doubt, please ask me.
Ma'am, in the above example, the dimension of null vector would be 4. No, sorry, it would be 3 only, no? Why it would be 1?
Here column space is these 3 columns, something which spans these 3 columns. Right. Now we are saying that to get that, we have to get the number. I in WhatsApp group I actually pasted something why the rank is so important. Now why the ranks are so important is, what is rank? Actually rank is number of independent columns. Now in this is a small matrix, but in real time you have 100 cross 100 matrix. Now in that 100 cross 100 matrix, we are actually trying to find the number of independent columns, which is actually the rank of A. So if out of 100, if you are able to find 10 columns, then those 10 columns which are linearly independent by definition will span the entire space. So this is how we actually reduce the dimension of that matrix, and we actually able to find those 2 important columns which can actually span the entire space. So that's why rank is very important. Now what is rank? I have a matrix A and I am saying this is M cross N matrix. Now this 3 columns will reduce it to row echelon form when we are doing the column space, and when we are doing the null space we will further reduce it to reduced row echelon form. Now if when we are reducing it to row echelon form, what we are doing, we are saying that we are actually getting the independent rows. Right, so those independent rows will corresponds to number of pivots, because these are the independent columns. So now if in this matrix you have 2 independent columns, means you have 2 pivots. So for that you have 2 independent columns, and then that becomes the dimension, and if that is becoming the dimension, that is the rank of column A. And the left one is your free variable which can take any value. So therefore we will take it to Ax equal to B form, and we will write the solution which is x1, x2, x3 in terms of the free variable which is x3. So we will write x1 and x2 in terms of x3, and then we'll give some value to x3 and can get x1 and x2. So that becomes the solution space. So when we are talking about null space, we are in actually the solution space, and in both we are actually want to find the solution space. There it is Ax equal to B in null space, and here it is Ax equal to 0. So but it for both we are actually trying to find the number of pivots, because we know that columns which corresponds to the pivots are actually linearly independent, therefore that will make the basis. So all the definition are coming from what we have already done. So after this I have a question, but sorry, I have another example, but before that please ask me something if you still have doubts.
Ma'am,
Ma'am, so
can we say that as dimension of column space is equal to 2, so can we say that column space is a subspace of R square, which is a subspace R square in R raised to the power 4?
No. We are not in R square. What is R4? You have 4 elements, no? So R square, we are not in R square. We are in R4. R4. See,
Ma'am, but
just don't confuse this. Now R4 means you have 4 elements, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is R4. And R dimension 2 means you have 2 elements. So you have these 2, 3 elements. So this is your dimension because you have 2 vectors. That is your dimension. And R space R4 means you have 4 elements, 1, 2, 3, 4. So these are 2 different things. So here you see that I'm in M cross N. M is my 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's why column space will be always 4 elements and its dimension is 2. So I'm not in R2. Dimension is 2 means I have 2 vectors in that R4. So I have 2 vectors in R4. That becomes my subspace, column space.
okay, ma'am, thank you.
Anything else? Then I have something else to do.
Ma'am, how you are taking place is matrix multiplication by column into row in the above example.
Here.
No, ma'am, just above. Yes, ma'am.
This one.
Ma'am, the below. Yes,
There. Here. Here what I'm doing?
ma'am, how you are multiplying it?
No, I am saying that if you have an equation Ax equal to B, for what values of B, because B can be anything, right? See, we are talking about span here. So we are saying that Ax is a column space is actually the linear combination of all the columns which will span that space. So those can be any number of columns, right? So B is on your right hand side. So we are saying for what values of B, this Ax equal to B will have solution. So then entire thing they were saying that Ax equal to B, what kind of B will be there, so that you have an equation like this. This will happen only when B is actually in the span of this A. Then only we'll be able to find this solution.
Yes, ma'am, got it.
So now one more thing I have to do. 1 minute. I took some examples last time. Here, yeah. So this one was the example I was taking last time to explain you the span. A is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 4, 1, 4, 1, 1, 3, 2. This, right? Now, if you reduce it into the row echelon form,
excuse me, ma'am.
yeah,
Ma'am, I had a doubt.
yeah.
Ma'am, in the above example, why the null space is not in R4 but in R3?
See, you see it now, it is very, very clear. See, where is it? We are here, right? Null space is what? Ax equal to 0. So, once I reduce this A into reduced Ray echelon form, here. Once I have reduced this into this form, After this, what I will write? This is my A. Now I will multiply this with x1, x2 and x3 to get the solution. So when I am doing that, I have only three variables, no, x1, x2, x3, and that is my solution space. Null space is nothing but ax. For ax equal to 0, my solution space. Now my solution space is what? Is my x1, x2, x3. I have only three variables. So whatever answer will come, it will come in this x1, x2, x3, and this is my 3R3 space, no, because the solution, you see it here. Now the values which are coming are -1 and 1, which is what? You have 3 tuple, which is R3 space. Earlier it was coming as 4 tuples, R4 space. So that's why in M cross N, column space is in M and null space is in N, which is 3. See it here, na? It is clear so much.
The solution matrix is of 3 cross 1.
Solution matrix is of 3 tuples. It can be, now in this case only one element was free, so this is -1, 1 coming. So then your basis, your dimension is coming as 1. But if there were one more variable, then it dimension could be 2, 3 and so on. But variables, I mean the tuples will always be 3 in our null space, because your solution space is in Rn.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Right, so last time I have done a question. What is that question? So have you seen my last lecture? There I was writing this, when you reduce this into this form, how we can write the solution x1 and x2, x3 in terms of free variables. That you have understood?
Yes, ma'am.
I had one example, just 1 minute. Okay, if you have understood, then I have one question here for you. I have this one matrix. So that's what I'm saying. The matrices will be very, very large matrices. See, I have this. I have this one matrix, which is very large matrix. 1, 0, 0, 0. 2, 0, 0, 0. 0, 0, 0, 0. 0, 1, 0, 0. 2, 3, 0, 0. 3, 4, 0, 0. 0, 0. Oh my god, 1 minute. 1, 0, 0, 4, 2, 0, 0, 4 zeros, 0, 1, 0, 0, 2, 3, 0, 0, 3, 4, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, right? And you have 1, 7, 8, 3, 0. Okay, can you tell me what form is this?
Reduced row echelon. Reduced.
Yeah.
Reduced row echelon.
So this is, I have some reduced row echelon forms. So I have already done it. Now what are the pivots here?
3.
First column,
The first
fourth
column,
column.
fourth column, and second last column. 0, 0, 1, 0.
So I have one pivot here. I have one pivot here. And I have one more pivot here. So this is already in the row reduced echelon form. There is one more theorem which says that row elimination will preserve the null space. Means whatever the dimension of null space is of A, when you reduce it, there is this theorem that row elimination will preserve the properties of the space. So if I have reduced it into this form, and I have this echelon form, because this is becoming like this. Now I have 3 pivots. So what is the dimension of column space? Is 3. Right. Now if the dimension of column space is 3, what is the dimension of null space?
5.
5.
Yeah, now null space has 5 means you have free variable, 5 free variables. Now, if my question is, what is the null space of this matrix? Means, sorry, what is the solution of this matrix? Can you write the solution x1, x2, x3? Now you have 8 variables, 5 are free. So if I tell you, give me the solution, or sorry, or you give me the basis for this null space, which is basis of this matrix A, which is already reduced row echelon form. So can you give me the basis or the solution space? How do you write x1, x2, x3, x1 in the form of x2, x2, x3, x5, x6 and x8 form? So these are all free variables. How do you write that is my question. Just try, then I'll tell you the solution. See, did I tell you one thing? Here now, when we are writing, when you have pivots, then any other column, for example, this 7830, yeah, 7830 is actually can be written as this combination, right? So, for example, 7 is what? 7 times this plus 8 times this and 3 times this will become this column. So any column, see here, 2 3, this is what? 2 times first and 3 times this. So any column here can be written as linear combination of those 3 independent columns, which is very nicely seen here. 7380 is what? Is nothing but 7 times first pivot, 8 times this one and 3 times this one. Any column you can see it. So this is one property. So when I'm saying give me the solution space, basically what I want, the null space, the nullity or the dimension is 5, because we have 5 free variables. So you have to give me 5 vectors which will form the basis, because they are only linearly independent basis for this null space. So the answer is this, and we'll see how it is. -2 1 0 0 0 0 0 8 2 2 4 5 6 0 0 1 1 2 3 4 5 zeros. -2 0 -2 0 0 -3 1 0 0 0 3 5 8 -3 0 0 -4 0 1 0 0 -7 0 0 -8 0 0 -3 1. This actually forms the solution space, and this is actually the basis for null space, and the dimension is 5, because you have 5 vectors here, and the matrix was actually 1 2 3 4 cross 8 matrix. So that is, you are in R8 space, but dimension is 5. Yeah, because you have 8 thing coming, so you are in actually R8. Null space is in R8, and its dimension is 5, and dimension of rank of A here is 3. Therefore you see that theorem, rank of 3 per null space is number of columns 8. This is how, but now how I am getting this one? Can you see this? Right, if you're not able to see, what we do generally is, you have this equation, this one A, you write this as x1 plus 2x2 plus 0 0 2x5 plus 3x6 plus 7 8. So you will make a linear system of equations. Now you write those system of equation in terms of 5 free variables. Therefore you write the way we have done earlier. So then you write x1 x2, the 3 variables which are free, these one x1 x4 and x7 in form of x2 x3 x5 and so on, and you will see that you will get the solution. Right, so that's it. You can find it this. Now that's it.